When I first got into computer science, like in uni, the first thing I asked my mom and dad was like, do you think I would be able to fix the light bulb after my uni?
Definitely the FOMO thing is real just because I was active in tech Twitter. Everything else is not true, right? Like
You're not wearing a hoodie?
sometimes.
Don't talk about like things in great technical detail.
Like public static void main with a semicolon.
Yeah, no, like, we don't talk about that. I did not know that robotics and software like come together. I mean, you need the software to operate the robot.
Yeah.
Hi there, we're ragTech. We're a group of friends in tech who decided to make a podcast to talk about the realities in tech in the most casual, least techy way possible. In our ragTech team, we have Saloni, a software engineer, Victoria, a solutions engineer, and Natasha, a software engineer. Together, we're the friends who formed ragTech, where we indulge in bites and banter. In our first episode, we wanted to quickly chat about how the idea for ragTech started, and also briefly chat about the various topics on the realities behind tech we wanted to explore more in our podcasts. It's our first episode, so we're just starting to learn the ropes, so be sure to like and subscribe, and leave comments below on how we can improve and what you would like us to chat about. So now, on to our first episode, introducing ragTech.
But I think at the end of the day, we just wanted like a platform that we all, the three of us, can share, and then we just want to be able to talk about our perspectives in tech, our experiences, because they're diverse, that's why ragtech. Yeah, so our diverse experience in tech, as well as like being able to connect with other people, so using our platform to actually connect with other people and interview them and learn about their perspectives. So in a way, we want this to be a more casual, lighthearted way for us to like bring the realities of tech to the general public,
Yeah. I think we were talking a lot about like how the existing media about tech. Oh yeah, she's right next to you. The existing media about tech tends to be very intense, very serious. It's like it's something that I guess technical folks like us would go to when we want to learn stuff. It's like, oh, how to build like a React app in like 5 hours. But that kind of intensity can scare a lot of like people who are still trying to step foot into the industry. And even for like technical folks like ourselves, there's also this feeling of like, wow, everybody is out there doing so many like serious, intensely cool stuff, and you feel like FOMO, which was also a topic that we were discussing about.
About how it's okay to be an average Joe in tech.
Average Jane.
Average Jane, yes.
Yeah, but definitely the FOMO thing is real just because I was active in tech Twitter for quite a while, and tech Twitter is really full of like people who are new to tech and they're like checking out new content, like what kind of things I should learn if I want to get started, and it's always like top 10 languages you have to learn by 2024, and it creates a lot of like this kind of competitive pressure for people who are starting, and they'll think like, oh, in tech it's all about like being like outdoing each other, or like learning the most newest technology, learning the newest testing library and all that.
Tools, framework.
Yeah,
that's why I'm not on Twitter. It's like way too intense for me. You're on Twitter as well.
No, I'm not actually.
No, but I'm on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is also the same thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I just do Instagram scrolling, so.
I think Instagram also has like a few like tech accounts here and there, and you get like snippets, and it comes accompanied with like images, which is like nice. But I think still like despite all these like more neutral platforms that aren't like top 10 languages to learn, it still tends to be like really intense and serious. So I think we realized there was kind of like a missing market for like perhaps something that looks at tech in a more casual and lighthearted manner. It kind of like simulates the conversations that we would have over dinner. I mean, even like software engineers, it's like we don't talk about like things in great technical detail,
like public static void main with a semicolon.
We don't talk about that.
We don't go too deep into tech. We do mention it. We talk about high level tech stuff that we're working on maybe, but it's usually
we rarely like go into detail about what tech stack do I use. This is the exact tech stack. What tech? I don't know what stack you use. I don't know what stack you use.
Or like how do you design your database? Like exactly tell me. And like no, we don't. We are not that intense, and that's why we're trying to kind of use this platform to also demystify all of that.
So people can really see the realities of what it means to be a person in the tech industry. That it's not all like intense. That we are all like people trying to get by. I mean, the other day we were talking about like what does it mean to be coding, to be a software engineer. but really you were saying that it was basically like just being really good at Google.
I mean, yeah, like I said, right? Like the difference between a 10K salary versus a 100K salary kind of software engineers, really because one has more experience and one is just a better Googler, you know?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
of course, in the future, it'll be a better ChatGPT prompter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because we were
It's a
talking
skill.
about- yeah, it definitely is a skill.
It's a skill.
Yeah, but I think, you know, even things that come up like, it's funny that we were talking about like coders are just very good Googlers and we were at Google, you know, talking about it. Yeah, but at the same time we were also talking about like how as coders, like when people realize you do code, you're like, so you know AI.
Oh yes. Yeah. Coding is AI. Nope.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
There are so many different spectrums to the tech industry. You could be a software developer, you could be a data scientist, data analyst, business development, and cybersecurity. There's so many.
Things like etc.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that we don't really know yet that we're still trying to explore. And these are things that we, you know, in our own domains would never have expertise over or claim that we would have expertise over. You know, like even though like data science and AI right now it's a big thing, and you know, and while we do software and those are perhaps like services that we use, like you ask us to build a model, I'll just be like staring
It's
at
a black box.
It's a black box, right?
Even Saloni just mentioned how she went out with her data science friend and she talked about data sciencey stuff.
Did you guys even talk about data science?
We did not talk about data science stuff. I was
That's
just generalizing.
Because you don't know what to say, it's a black box. That's why.
Yeah, and also we did not talk about software engineering stuff, right?
no,
So
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talk about like generic things about being
topics,
in tech. You know, you were talking about more like promotions and stuff like that. It's stuff that even people in non-tech also talk about. It's just applied in the context of tech, and it's just that like in the context of tech, this can like look a little bit different from the from other industries outside, and those are things that we talk about on a day-on-day with our friends, and we want the world to know about as well, because a lot of like the popular media out there might not cover this. You know, it will probably like cover things like, oh, how much do you earn as like a software engineer? But it's not the same. You can't just like, you know, proclaim that software engineers, like because you earn like, I don't know, 10K plus per month at Google, that means like any software engineer job is going to earn that. Yeah, those are myths that I think a lot of people believe is true.
Yeah, it's also quite common circulating around social media, like this is the roadmap to get into a Mang job and all that,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So follow these exact steps and you will reach that dream, you know?
Yeah. At first I was like Mang, I was like, oh, Fang, and now it's like Meta, oh, see like renaming, I can't even keep track. The tech industry moves too fast.
It does move very, very fast. So I know we're just talking earlier, like Saloni, how you mentioned you just went off the grid for
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was actually feeling anxious when I came back. It's like, oh no, the tech industry must have moved like 10 leaps forward in the 2 weeks, which is, it probably did. Like a few more libraries have come up probably in the 2 weeks, but we need to know that relax, it does not change the world. You are still relevant and you still know how to do your part of the work. And libraries will be releasing every day, new languages coming out every day, but you don't have to jump on every new hype.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because if you were to jump on every new hype, right, and then you basically, I don't know, on LinkedIn or something, you have like stacks and stacks and stacks of like all these different languages, but truly, like, what do you really know? It's really about like, sure, you can be using this one stack for like the next 5 years of your life, but really underlying it, the design of it, you know, the foundational knowledge that you have, and the use case. We were talking a lot about the use case specific to your company or specific to that side project you're on. It doesn't mean that because it's the newest, best language and everybody's talking about it, that you have to use it. It's about measuring the pros and cons across like these newer stacks versus like the current stack that you're using. It's also like if your company is already using that stack, you know, a lot of people don't understand that you can't just switch from one thing to another overnight. Yeah, it's like a huge effort for a company. So I think these are things that we really wanted to also talk about. And demystify.
Definitely. Yeah, use case is very important. That's why I would say a lot of people who, like my readers who contacted me and asked me, hey, should I learn, you know, these testing tools? Should I learn these frameworks? And I'll say, why do you want to learn it, right? You need to have a good reason. Like, what do you want to build, basically, right? You don't just learn it for the sake of learning it, and plus you will not retain it if you don't like actually have a use case, you know. Like, people will just learn it and then they'll like not use it, right? If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I always ask them these questions, make sure that they really have a true reason to basically use these. And so we're just talking about earlier with, you know, GraphQL, right? Like how in the end you didn't adopt GraphQL, and that's okay, right? So that's the thing about tech. Like, it's always changing and it's always evolving, right? But you just need to find like the tools that suit for you. And it doesn't matter whether it's new or old. Like, old can be, it's debatable, but old can also be a classic, right? It can also be something that you will use. So
it's like tried and tested with a good development developer tools around it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean,
that's what we need
it's just like
usually.
Microsoft PowerPoint has been here forever. You don't see people getting off it, right? People still list like Microsoft PowerPoint as like a treasured skill on LinkedIn. Because like, it's a tried and tested tool, and over the years, people know that it's good. That's why they don't like migrate to other platforms. So I think it's the same logic here. And you know, the pressure to want to like keep trying every new thing and spinning up side projects to try out that new thing. It's like, oh, I did this and I used this stack, I did that and I used this stack. I mean, there's also like the going pressure of like thinking that you need to have multiple side projects outside your 9 to 5.
Yeah, so that is definitely something that we've also talked about side projects, how it feels like the norm, right? Like, everyone thinks, oh, you work 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 a side project.
So I was one of them. I actually used to think, even now sometimes I still have side projects, but my main thing was that, okay, after my 9 to 5 I should be working on side projects, because in interviews that's what interviewers look out for, because there are bazillion people who want to come into software development, and it's so easy to now become a software developer. Boot camps, Udemy, you know, just follow a few articles and videos. There you are. You can now start coding. But how do you differentiate the good passionate software developers from the ones who are just in it to, you know, make the big bucks, for example? So the distinguishing factor for me was side projects. So this is your resume, that's good, but what do you do on the side? So then I could say things like, oh, I actually built this to-do list, for example, that actually syncs between me and my husband, and we can actually have like a synced to-do list, and we actually check things off. So that actually sounds that like someone who is passionate about coding and is now applying it to their real life. And coding for me is not just my way of earning money, but it's also my hobby, my passion. So I would then hire this person because they must be really good at coding. And they'll do good for my company.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's kind of like crazy that
it's the
like,
hustle culture
and like companies expect it. I don't see like other industries. I don't know, like accounting. Do you do accounting on a day-to-day outside of budget? Like you don't see that. I mean, anyways, like it just happened that they asked that question. You had a functional side project. You had a problem like and you created like that app to like solve it, but you didn't create it because you were going to the interview and because you felt like you needed to be part of the hustle culture.
But it helped. So then that's why I started like preaching to others around me that, oh, you must have a side project, because that's what people look out for.
I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence on whether to encourage or like this.
It's become like a toxic loop of expectations, right? Like people are expecting it from you, so you end up doing it. But it originally started because you really like to do it and you do have a problem to solve. You're not doing it for the sake of just, you know, you just have to build your portfolio. But these days it becomes quite artificial. And so it's really nothing to judge. Like you see someone with like a more grayish GitHub like commit history. Like GitHub. I confess I haven't been, you know, my GitHub is kind of blank, but it's okay, right? Like, because we are people, you know, we're not like 24/7 coding. Like that's also another definitely that's also another misconception. When I talk with my friends who are outside of the tech industry, they think like, don't you like almost every day 24 hours like in your dark room like just coding like that? And I'm like, no. In fact, the dark room part is correct because I do like my dark room, but everything else is not true, right? Like
You're not wearing a hoodie?
They do give out a lot of hoodie merch though. Like,
they gave me merch.
Yeah. It's not practical in Singapore weather. Let's be real.
Yeah. But I would say the stereotype though, at the end of the day, it's not that true. Right?
Yeah. It's definitely not that true, and I think like this obsession over like having so many side projects, because like the demand is there, like now the tech industry is so saturated because like the media also like blows it up how much money you can earn and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of crazy, you know, the expectation that there's so many people just flooding the industry right now, that I was like at this tech community event and I had like a first year university student come up to me. And you know, she was like really talking about like, oh, what do you do? Like, what do I do? And towards the end of the conversation, I was just like, you're a first year university student. It's great that you're attending all these events, but like, what are you trying to get out of it? And then the person was just like, I'm trying to get an internship. I'm like, in your first year? And she's like, yeah, because you know, everybody is saying that in my first year I have to get like a Mang internship, and then the second year maybe try for like a smaller company, and then my third year this, and then for entire roadmap planned. And then I stopped her and I asked her like, so what classes are you taking right now, and have you actually touched code? And she was like, no, I'm taking like a data structures and algorithms class right now. And I'm like, did you even try like actually coding for fun? And the answer was no, she couldn't answer me. So gone are the days of like people coming into like the software engineering or coding world because, you know, they were playing Minecraft and then trying to mod it with like JavaScript stuff, or like for myself I was just like fiddling around with like Notepad to like code up my own program. I mean, and these are all reasons that we came into like the industry, so it's very obvious like this is a passion. Yeah, but I think like more and more people are coming into it because they know there's big money. And I think that's why, because people are coming in thinking that I'm gonna get big money, then the demands of like interviewers have changed, because now they have to question like, are you actually passionate about this?
Yeah.
Or are you here for the money?
Correct.
Definitely. I do have a reader of mine who have contacted me before saying she got so burnt out and overwhelmed because she was doing all these courses at once and attending all these networking events that says would benefit her and her future, but then she realized that she actually don't like coding. She just wants it because of the money. Because many people say this is your way to get into Silicon Valley and be dang rich and like own a big, you know, bungalow in the States. And she was like, yeah, that was my path, and now I'm so dang lost because I realized that I don't enjoy it. I'm so dang burnt out. So these things happen, and that's why we are trying to debunk all these, right? Like the realities of software engineering. And we're not like saying that, oh, you must like super duper like to code to be like in tech. Like you can like enjoy it as a work. If you don't enjoy it as like a hobby, you have other hobbies, that's also fine, right? Like life is all about like balancing those hobbies, right? So if you see your work, which is like programming and designing software, as a part of things that you enjoy, that's also good. Like you can finish 9 to 5, and then after 5 you can go swimming, tennis, whatever hobbies you enjoy. That's also fine. Like it's seriously sometimes people think themselves like super seriously, but I've read this in a book somewhere. It's like someone put a quote in that book, and then it says, "We're just all monkeys with a plan." So don't treat
monkeys.
We're just don't take ourselves so seriously, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And the truth is, like our like outside of work, like we're not just doing coding. Like we have hobbies that are not related to code. Like I personally like climb. I have cats. You know, doing a lot of animal welfare stuff. Like, you know, foster cat right here, but now adopted cat. Yeah, I think you were telling me you play a lot of games. Yeah.
And actually, games is how I got into coding in the first place, because I built like a game with Visual Basic.
What?
I know.
I built a game with Visual Basic.
Seriously, I go crazy. I go crazy. I literally download like all the PNGs of like the characters I wanted, and that's how I even pick up Photoshop, because I have to Photoshop out the background and all that.
Oh my gosh, that's how you created your assets?
I know. And then I start drawing in Photoshop as well, like backgrounds and all that, trees. And then slowly I got into game development, so I learned C#, right?
So you started in game dev, actually?
Actually, it was just a hobby at that time. So I was in uni and I'm just developing games as a hobby. And I even like just showing off to my friends, like, look at my first platformer game, but it's really something I don't envision myself doing, right? Because I'm actually graduate with a finance degree, so I thought I'll be into I'll be working in a bank, right? But then when I realized that I really like building things and I like to solve problems through code, I'm like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So sometimes people find it later, right, in life, and sometimes people find it, immediately, and that's okay as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like for yourself, did you graduate a computer science degree?
I graduated computer science, but like even before getting into computer science, I already knew that I would go in computer science because. Like yourself, I also actually started making games using Flash.
Flash! Okay, so ActionScript, right?
ActionScript.
So I'm actually Visual Basic, then ActionScript, then Unity.
Okay, yes. I did not delve into game development though. After that, I joined robotics club in my JC.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So then that's when I started learning about algorithms. Like how to get the micro mouse through a maze.
And
then that's when depth first or breadth first.
Right. Yeah. Do you join a micro mouse competition?
Yeah, in JC. Yes. So then that's how I got into coding, and then I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna be a software developer and I'm gonna build my own app and become super rich.
Even then, it wasn't I think the rich part only comes in this generation, right?
Oh no, I was born to be rich.
Queen.
We're not revealing our ages here, but you're getting that. Okay, the truth is we're all three of us obviously not super rich.
Yes,
that
not
is
yet.
also another myth.
Not
Everybody
yet.
keeps thinking if you work in tech, you're gonna be earning the big bucks.
No,
I want to be sitting here and who's earning the big bucks.
Yes, definitely. Just now when you did talk about how people would think that get into tech and then get a big buck salary and then get a house, everything. That's not really true. I don't have a house, and it depends.
Singapore is actually kind of hard.
Because we live in Singapore.
Violin music.
we live in Singapore, and so it's different from country to country, and from the company that you're working for as well, and how you're getting promoted within the company. So you could be in the same company, not be earning the same salary even. There are a lot of things at play. Do not get blinded by all of these things. Make your own decisions, do your own research, and it's not just engineering, even medical, even marketing, accountancy. There are big bucks if you want to, so it all depends on your passion. So do what you are passionate for. Don't do things for money, especially not a 9 to 5 for money.
For sure.
That shouldn't be your aim to I want to go into this field because of the 9 to 5 pays this much. No, definitely no.
It's definitely about following your passion as much as possible, but also not saying that you have to work at a place that you're passionate about. It's a lot about pivoting and really rediscovering your passions from here and there. I mean, just look at the ways that we describe our journey. We went from one area to another, and honestly now we're still discovering, right? Because even though we know roughly we know that we want to be in the tech industry, but even the tech industry, like you mentioned, has so many different verticals that I am still exploring. I feel like being a software engineer is also a very generic role that I can just kind of place myself for now. But in terms of the actual track, I'm still kind of discovering that through community events, through talking to different people. Robotics engineering is something new that I came to know about. I think it's stupid, but I did not know that robotics and software come together. I mean, you need a software to operate the robot.
Yeah.
But these are some things I'm discovering.
Yeah,
and even though we've been so long in the number of years relative to people out there. But a lot of people still don't know that all these different tracks exist. And even within the different tracks, there's the coding tracks, and there's the non-coding tracks like cybersecurity. So there's still so much to discover and talk about.
Yeah, that's why this is actually something I'm really excited about through this podcast, as we get to actually meet other people who are non-software engineers. Because when people think, oh, you're in tech, you're a software engineer, that's so the common label. And to be honest, since I was from finance, I also think, oh, if I go into tech, I can only be a software engineer. That's a one-track thing. And then I'm okay, but what if I want to try other things, right? What if I'm interested in AI and machine learning? So during my time when I was like kind of like in COVID period, it was like, you know, everyone was in their homes. I kind of used that time to actually explore, like dabble in different things. Like I used the Google Auto ML API just to build my own custom image classification model and check out machine learning.
Big words.
Sorry. And then I attended many hackathons like back to back just to like try different technologies and see which type do I like, cloud computing or do I like web development? Like what exactly do I want in tech basically? So in a way, this podcast I'm also really excited about just learning how to navigate through tech. Like we get to explore ourselves as well for us and for maybe the people who are listening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And therefore we have ragtech.
Yeah, so coming as to like why we call it ragtag. I mean, we talk about how we came on this podcast idea, but the notion of ragtag, it came from the word like ragtag, R-A-G-T-A-G, which means like a disorganized group of people, group of thoughts, which is kind of like how our conversations go. It goes from one to another. As you can see from the last, I don't know how many minutes, but you basically just change the T-A-G to T-E-C-H.
Yes.
And inside joke is that it's in camel case. If you know what it is, then yeah, good for you. You're in the right place. But yeah, that's kind of like what we arrived at, and then our tagline, which you came up with it.
Bites and banter. So disclaimer, I did not come up with it. It's awesome, but ChatGPT did help us get to it. So yeah, bites and banter. Basically, bites is BYTES, so bits and bytes. So this would be like bite-sized information for you guys on regarding tech, and also banter, where the three of us coming together. We'll be talking about this from our own perspectives, from our own opinions. So we will be like questioning each other, like, oh, why this, why that, and bringing this all for you guys. So that's our tagline. Bites and banter, and lightheartedness, of course. So
we're just gonna keep it chill, just like our usual conversations. And obviously it's not just three of us. We're looking to bring in a lot of other people because software engineer, solutions engineer, like we said, we're still trying to discover like different tracks. We're also trying to explore like bringing our non-technical friends in and also asking them like, what are your perspectives on the tech industry? Like, do you have any misconceptions for us to bust? And also maybe try out segments like we attempt to explain like cloud computing concepts to a non-techie and see their reaction. Do they think like the cloud is a physical cloud like Google Drive or something like that? Like, I think those are things that we want to explore, just really keeping it casual and lighthearted.
Yeah. So I think all in all, I think this is a very good start for us. And we just being able to casually hang out here. I know like probably in the first few episodes, maybe it will be slightly awkward because we're not used to it.
We did go through a lot to like get here, like even today.
So this is our emotional support cat, right?
This is Pip. Pip is she's my cat, but she used to be my foster cat. She's named after the Python package installer.
Pip install.
Yeah, like pip install. Also because like she pips a lot. Like she goes pip pip. I mean she's sleeping now. Maybe next time, but. Yay! Emotional support.
Yeah, because we know that in the next first few episodes we might need emotional support.
We are not the most extroverted people, but we like sharing our knowledge. My motto in life is like teaching is the best way to learn. So the more I talk about it, the more I teach, it would be better for me. So actually, sorry, I've lost track of what I was saying.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I remember you saying this, that like you teach as a way to learn, because it's only by teaching that you are able to condense that information, and you hear yourself teaching and you force yourself through the process.
And to like think, exactly why exactly am I saying such things? So so that's what this is. And I actually, like, while you were explaining, I realized ironically tech is like tech knowledge and everything is like literally at our fingertips, right? And even then it is so convoluted. There's so many aspects to it that even though it's right out there, half of the information is free on YouTube, on like so many different articles, but why is it still so complicated? Why is it still so black box to so many people?
Exactly.
So that's why there is a need for such a platform where people try to like, we will try to like help make it more accessible. Like explain things that there's no need to get overwhelmed, because we have been through our own phases where we have been overwhelmed by the tech world. So this is our attempt to demystify things and bring the calm to tech. Bring the calm. So for our listeners, I'm literally doing the calm movement with my hands.
The calm cat. The calm, hopefully us.
Calm
energy. And we'll be the average Jane in the tech industry.
We'll be like the neighbor, the tech neighbor.
Friendly neighborhood
friendly neighborhood.
Your friendly neighborhood techie.
Tech person.
No, if we call ourselves that, like people are gonna call us in to fix your computers. Like 100%. My parents would just assume that I know how to like do anything computer related, anything like I don't know, appliance related.
Yeah,
I'm just like.
They keep asking me to fix the printer and
this
all
is
that.
funny because when I first got into computer science, like in uni, the first thing I asked my mom and dad was like, do you think I would be able to fix the light bulb after my uni?
Okay, so you used to be on board on that train.
I was of that
train.
thinking, like I can fix any electrical appliance after my computer science graduation.
Oh my
God. That's who I'm gonna be.
You just negated the whole electrical engineering department.
I'll just do everything.
Like it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Not just computer, electricity.
Oh, electricity.
It'll be in my fingertips.
You'll be the electricity superhero.
Yeah. Is it just because you use Flash? So it's like electricity.
Yes. If I can do Flash, I can do anything.
Yes, girl. No, not really. But as a whole, I think like that's why we've decided to try this podcast out. It's not going to be like the easiest thing for us. But this is something that we're experimenting with, something we're trying to get out of our comfort zone so that more people can listen to this, relate to this, try things out as we kind of like talk about it and explore it together with us, just as we're exploring it as well. So that is us. We are ragtag. Actually, did we introduce ourselves?
No, we haven't.
No, okay. I will introduce ourselves now. I'm Natasha. I'm a software engineer.
I'm Saloni. I'm also a software engineer.
And I am Victoria. I'm a solutions engineer and also a tech blogger on the side.
Yes, we will definitely have like an episode to like explain what solutions engineer is.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know like people kind of get confused with that.
Yes.
And we will also have episodes to explain like what is a software engineer actually. So don't worry about that. We'll come to that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna explain it like right now. But we've introduced Pip, who's out of the camera right now, so that's fine. But that's us. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're really happy to have you guys here, and we're looking forward to more. Yeah. Okay,
also, we would like to give credit to Jonathan.
Oh
who actually has set up this entire thing for us. So speakers, video, audio, everything. He's now behind the scenes, behind the camera. But yes, Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
And then that would be all. Please stay tuned to ragtag.
Subscribe,
subscribe, and follow.
Comment.
And comment
everything. Social media.
Notification.
Yeah, we're still working on it. Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay.